Yo, it's your boy Jay Best and your boy Real, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 3, episode 27. On today's episode, we're gonna be giving our week 18 bets and our week 18 picks, and we're gonna get y'all out of here, all right? But as always, before we get started, we want to thank God for waking us up this morning and allowing us to talk about sports, which is something that we love to do, and without him, we would not be here right now. Real, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and get this thing started with our week 18 bets. Real, who you got first? Our first player, bro.
Yes, sir. So I got Bucky Irvin over in Tampa, going over 89.5 rushing yards against the Saints this week. If you look and if you've been watching football this year, the Saints have the worst rush defense in the league. They've been giving up 100 yards to everybody. Last week, Alexander Madison with the Raiders, his total yards was 191 yards the whole season, and he got 100 yards against the Saints. So go ahead and smash the Bucky Irving over 89.5 rushing yards.
All right, I'm rocking with that. All right, my first pick of the week gonna be George Pickens over 68 and a half receiving yards. I would even bump this up to 100, and this is why. All right, George Pickens need 100 yards to get to 1,000. I'm all about storylines, right? George Pickens was 1,000 yard receiver last year with Kenny Pickett, with Mason Rudolph, with Mr. Trubisky, right? So this year with Russ, the expectations went up, right? So you can't have less than 1,000 yards. So I think they got to give him the ball. And the secondary is very vulnerable. We've seen them give up a lot of yards to a lot of receivers. All right, the Bengals allowed the second most yards to receivers. And then also the last time they played, he had 74 yards, so that would cover the 68 and a half. But I think he's going to have a huge game, and Russ needs to get him the ball. We keep hearing about all the chirping in Pittsburgh with how George Pickens is not fully invested because he's not getting enough targets, this, that, and another. You got to get him the ball against the secondary. And like I said, 100 yards away from 1,000. This shit hit. All right, who you got next?
Yes, sir. So I got Zach Ertz in Washington going over 39.5 receiving yards. It's the last game of the season. I'm going based off feelings right here. Incentive bonuses are hitting. I was doing my homework, and incentive bonuses are hitting. Zach Ertz has to get 85 yards in order to get $1 million. And then if he was to get a touchdown, he gets another $1 million. So Zach
Okay.
Ertz needs to get over 40 receiving yards, and he has a big check coming his way. And Jaden Daniels doesn't want to let the veteran down in the room.
Of course, of course. All right, I like that bet. Next, I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow over 39 passing attempts. That number seems very high, but when you look at the situation the Bengals are in, this is a must-win game, right? They gotta win this game. Hopefully, people lose to get into the playoffs, but first they gotta win. And a must-win game, why would you not put the ball in Joe Burrow's hands? All right, last week in a must-win game against the Denver Broncos, he threw the ball 49 times. All right, and that game was overtime, of course, but they put the ball in his hand. It went 10 over this projection. And in the last 3 games versus the Steelers, he's had at least 38 passing attempts. All right, so you're looking at worst case scenario, missing this by one. I think he definitely goes over 39 passing attempts. They can't really run the ball that well, so they're gonna have to put the ball in the air. And also, I was thinking about T. Higgins receptions, but I like this one more because this might be his last game with T. Higgins, right? Depending on what happens. So he's going to throw this ball around, go spread it around. I would definitely hit the over on his passing attempts. Tyrell, who you got next?
Yes, sir. I 100% agree. Next, I got Cortland Sutton going over 76.5 receiving yards. We've been talking about Cortland Sutton every week, man, and
Yeah,
every week he's been hitting his line.
yeah,
Cortland Sutton's been going crazy this week. And just like you were talking about George Pickens, this guy's right there to being a 1,000 yard receiver, too. So you don't think that's in the back of his head?
yeah.
Yes,
Got
sir.
it.
Yes, sir. So go ahead and smash the over 76.5 receiving yards. He's definitely going to get it. And he has some incentive bonuses coming up, too.
All right. Hey, them centers, man, you got they want to hit those.
Man.
We going I'm gonna go with another a lot of these bets we're doing this week are based on incentives and based on just situation, right? So with this situation, this is my favorite bet of the week is Devontae Adams over 6 receptions. I'm even doing over 7.5 receptions, which is a demon bet on Prize Picks. All right. I think he'll get at least 8 receptions. This is possibly his last game with Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what the situation gonna be next year. We don't know if they're cutting Aaron Rodgers. We don't know if they're benching him. We don't know what they're gonna do with Devontae Adams. We just don't know. It's a lot of question marks in New York. So I feel like this might be their last game together. They're gonna go stupid. He's gonna throw the ball to him a lot, and I really think he's gonna get this reception hit. And last time they played the Dolphins a couple of weeks ago, he had 9 catches, 109 yards. Right. So this could be Aaron's last game as a Jet. We just don't know. So I feel like because we don't know the future, they're gonna use this last opportunity to have a big game and give us flashbacks of what we've seen in the past. They've been giving us flashbacks off and on throughout the year, but I think they're definitely gonna try and end with a big hit. All right. So I got Devontae Adams going over 6 receptions. Who you got next?
Yes, sir. I 100% agree with you. Next, I'm going Lions money line over the Minnesota Vikings this week. The Lions are the best team in the NFC, and the first seed is already theirs. All they have to do is win the game. I think Dan Campbell's gonna have these guys fired up and ready to go and play on a turf field. No conditions, cause no conditions to worry about at all. So I think Dan Campbell will have his team ready to go. Go ahead, smash the Lions money line.
Yeah, must win game. And this is for, like you said, this is for home field advantage in the playoffs and that first round bye. I agree with you. Next, I'm going with, I'm going to stay in that game. And I'm going to go with Jordan Addison over 64.5 receiving yards. This Lions secondary is questionable. Very, very questionable. We saw Ricky Pearsall have over 100 receiving yards against this Lions secondary on Monday Night Football. Okay, Lions are giving up the sixth most receiving yards in the league. The defense is hurt, right? They don't have Aiden Hutchinson up there to put pressure on quarterbacks. So quarterbacks are having field days against this Lions secondary, and this is a big game, right? So I'm with my mindset, I'm thinking that all eyes should be on Justin Jefferson. Like, there's no way you let Justin Jefferson take over this game and you lose because of Justin Jefferson. So with that mindset, I think Jordan Addison gonna eat because they're so focused on Justin Jefferson. Last time Jordan Addison played the Lions this year, he had 3 catches with 66 yards. I think that's gonna be better because the Lions defense was better during that game. Now they're worse. So I think Jordan has a field day against this Lions secondary. All right. You got one
Yes.
more?
I got one more. Kyler Murray going over 34.5 rushing yards this week. So like I've been telling you, I've been doing my homework. I've been doing a lot of homework because I've been trying to get this money, man. I'm trying.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray got another incentive coming up too. All he needs is 43 more yards, and he gets $500,000. And if he gets a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, it's another $500,000. So he has $1 million on the line. I think he knows that. I think he's been reading his contract. I think his agents in his ear. He's the quarterback. He's in control of every single play, so he could easily run for 34 yards. So go ahead, smash that. Go get you some easy money.
Yeah, and another thing with that incentive, right? The Cardinal season is over. So at this point, you're trying to get boys paid, you're trying to get their money. So this is something that I feel like the coaching staff would even want Kyler to get so he can get that bread because they ain't playing for nothing else, right? It's the last game of the season. Go ahead and get your QB1 paid, all right? I love that bet. Last but not least, I'm going with the Steelers money line over the Bengals, okay? The Steelers was underdogs in Cincinnati earlier this year. I told y'all to smash it. They won that game. At home, they're underdogs. Smash it because we're going to get this win, and this is wild. Okay, the Bengals are now 1-7 versus teams above 500. I'm not gonna let last week's game change my mind about the Bengals. All right, this is the Bengals are a scary team because if you catch them on the wrong day, they can really put up a lot of points on you. But their defense, as we saw against Bo Nix and them, is not that good at all. And then this game had to go to overtime. We saw the ball go back and forth. And honestly, I think Bo Nix wet the bed, right? A rookie quarterback in a big game, kind of like a playoff like atmosphere, because the Bengals have to win, the Broncos have to win. And he wet the bed against Joe Burrow in the game. All right. So I think that this week, the Steelers have to get this win because going into the playoffs, you can't lose 4 straight games. That's no bueno. That's not gonna get it done. So you got to get this win at home to kind of get a good taste in your mouth moving forward into the playoffs. So this is a must-win game for the Bengals, but it's even more of a must-win game for the Steelers. If they want a chance at making any kind of noise in the playoffs, they got to win this game at home against Cincinnati. I love them as underdogs in this game. Go ahead and take the money line with Pittsburgh. All right.
Yes, sir. I agree 100%. Especially Mike Tomlin. He's not going into the playoffs with a loss. He
Yeah,
said that earlier.
yeah, they got to get the bad taste out their mouth. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about our Week 18 picks this year. Because Tyrell wasn't always doing the picks with me, I am 161.95 on the year. That's pretty good, all right, if you ask me. So if y'all put the right games together, I'm gonna miss 1 or 2 every week. If y'all put the right games together, you can win you a lot of money, all right? So let's go ahead and talk about our Week 18 picks. And mind you, this week, a lot of people not playing. Some teams resting their stars. We're taking all of that into account when we pick these games, all right? So first up on Saturday, this is a big game. The Cleveland Browns at the Ravens. The Ravens got to win to clinch the AFC North. All right, who you got?
I got the Ravens. This is basically a given. The Cleveland Browns are on their fourth quarterback, so
Yeah,
I, everybody knows who's gonna win this game.
yeah, I'm going with the Ravens as well. One thing that I've been talking about, I've been flirting with all week is the spread, because the spread is like 17 and a half, something around there. So I don't think they're going to absolutely kill them because it is still a divisional game, right? We saw the Browns beat the Ravens earlier this year, but that was with Jameis Winston. But still, right, this game can go any kind of way. The Ravens are going to win, don't get it twisted, but 17 and a half, that's a lot of points to cover. All right, and it's not DTR. With DTR, that's possible, but with Bailey Zappi, I mean, he's better than DTR. I promise you that, right? He's gonna give you more than him. But if anything, I would look at the spread, but I would definitely take the Ravens over the Browns. They're trying to win the AFC North. This is a must-win game. They're gonna try to get this one done early so they can sit their starters in the second half. All right. And then on prime time, we got the Bengals and the Steelers Saturday night as well. This is a big game for both teams. Like I said, the Steelers need to get this win for good vibes, and the Bengals got to get this win if they want a chance to go to the playoffs. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, so I got the Bengals. I mean, I got the Steelers winning this game. Like you said, the Bengals are 1-7 against teams that are over 500. We're not gonna let that win last week scare us, and the Steelers are not gonna go into the playoffs on a loss. I just know that for a fact. I know that. I think it's gonna be a big TJ Watt game.
Yeah, it got to be a big J White game because he's been MIA the past couple of weeks. That whole pass rush has been MIA the past couple of weeks. And what I've been telling my family and my friends that are Steelers fans, this is the best game to go into the playoffs because it's a playoff-like game, right? The Bengals got to win this. So this is a good time to go against a team that's desperate, which means the Bengals will bring everything they got. And the Bengals O-line is not that good. So this is a game for TJ Watt, for Cam Hayward, for Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig to all get active and get that momentum going into the playoffs. This is a perfect game for Pittsburgh. And I got them winning this one at home. Like Mike Tomlin said, we got to get that bad taste out of our mouth to go into the playoffs. Because they lose this game, I'm going to say they're going to lose the first round, whoever. I don't care if it's Houston, I don't care if it's Baltimore. Whoever they play first round, I'm going to pick the other team because I can't pick a team that has four straight losses. That's just not going to happen. All right, so moving on to Sunday, we got the Panthers and the Falcons. Who you got?
Yeah, so I got the Falcons winning this game. Michael Penix is 1-1 so far. He had a pretty good game last week against Jaden Daniels. It came all the way down to the wire. I think the Falcons, they know they have to get in the playoffs. They'll handle this game. They'll try to get it done early. And yeah, go ahead and pick the Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons is kind of like the Bengals, right? They got to get this win. They need the Bucks to lose. Right? It's like the Bengals got to get a win. They need the Dolphins and the Broncos to lose. Must win game. I'm gonna take the Falcons. I'm still not that sold on Michael Penix yet. Right? It's still early. That was his second start last week. But I still think they can get the job done against the Panthers, knowing what's on the line. Right? I'm depending on that Falcons defense to do a lot to shut down this Panthers offense. So I got the Falcons winning at home. All right. Next we got the Commanders and the Cowboys. Who you got?
Yeah, so I got the Commanders winning this game. The Commanders, they gotta stay fresh. They gotta stay in rhythm in order to still play this good in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So I got them winning. The Cowboys, they're resting CeeDee Lamb. They're resting a lot of their starters too. And I think Dallas is playing for next year.
Yeah.
Go ahead, put me down for the Commanders winning. It should be an easy one.
Yeah, I got the Commanders too. Like you said, Cowboys, the season is done. Of course, as a division rival, you want to spoil the other teams in this last game, right? Because if the Cowboys beat the Commanders, who know that could lead to a first round exit because the momentum is gone. But I don't think the Cowboys have enough, especially without CeeDee Lamb. I don't think they have enough to beat a Commanders team, which I was wrong about this year. I must admit, right? I thought it was going to fall off eventually, but Jaden Daniels proved me wrong every single week. And I think this week is the Cowboys. He gonna do the same. The Commanders aren't really playing for nothing because they got their spot locked up. But like you said, there's a couple incentives still there for Zach Ertz, etc. So they should be playing hard anyways, and they should get this W against the Cowboys. All right. Next we got the Bears and the Packers. Who you got?
I got the Packers winning this game. This is another game that they can't afford to lose. It's a division game. It's going to be a tough game, though, because Caleb Williams is going to be looking to spoil this one against the Packers. But I definitely have the Packers winning in Lambeau Field right before the playoffs. They got to win this game.
Same exact explanation. You got to win this game going into the playoffs. The Packers to me are a good team. They're a scary team in the playoffs. Honestly, as a wild card team, I would hate to have to play them first round because they're a team. If they bring their best, they can beat anybody, right? So I do got the Packers win this game. The Bears, they haven't won a game in a while. right, in a long time. So they can go ahead and shut it down and get ready for next year. So I got the Packers winning at home. All right, Jaguars, Colts up next. Who you got?
I got the Colts winning this game. There's been a lot of hurtful things going around the Colts organization this week. I don't think Anthony Richardson likes it. I don't think Anthony Richardson has liked what he's been hearing from his teammates. I think him and Jonathan Taylor are going to put a game together against Mac Jones, and there's just no way the Jaguars should beat the Colts. Go ahead, put me down for the Colts in Indy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Colts too because last week they lost their playoff hopes when they lost to the Giants. They lost to the Giants, bro, in a must-win game. You know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty bad. But I think they'll take that frustration out on the Jaguars. Once again, I'm just not putting my money on Mac Jones. I just refuse to do it. I'm not putting my money on the Jaguars team, so I'm taking the Colts by default. All right, next we got the Bills and the Patriots. Who you got?
I got the Patriots upsetting the Bills right here. Uh, I think the Bills will come into this game resting their starters. I think they'll come in not really too focused on the game. And it's a game in New England. This New England team almost knocked off the Bills a couple weeks ago. I got them sneaking the dub against the Bills this week.
All
Pick
right,
the
me, Stadia,
pick the underdog.
with the underdog. All right. Only reason I'm against it, I'm going with the Bills because as of right now, the Patriots have the number one pick. If you want, because there's rumors now that the Giants, because they won last week, right now they're the fourth seed. No, they have the fourth pick in the draft. Sorry, fourth pick in the draft. They got to trade up to get Shador, right? So the Patriots really could sit back and say, you know what, we lose this game, we'll get the first pick. We're gonna get a big haul from the Giants. The Giants had to get a quarterback because in between the Patriots and the Giants, you have teams like the Raiders, right, who need a QB. So if you want the QB that you really want, you got to trade up. So I think that the Patriots, why would you win this game when you can actually win in the future, win long term by making a big trade with the Giants to get up in the draft? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go with the Bills to win this game. I don't think the Patriots want to win this game. All right, next we got the
Yes, sir.
Giants and the Eagles. Who you got?
Yes, sir. I got the Eagles winning this game. I think whoever plays Kenny Pickett or Tanner Mickey, I think they'll definitely be able to get the dub against the Giants. Like we were just talking about, the Giants are playing for next year. That loss, that win they just had last week, that hurt them more than it helped them. So
Yeah,
I think their whole organization knows that, and they all know tank, tank, tank. Get QB, get QB.
yeah. All right, so just to go back on what I just said a couple minutes ago, the Patriots have the first pick. The Titans and the Browns have the second and third pick. That's my fault. I said the Raiders, but it's the Titans and the Browns. And the Giants have the fourth pick. Right. So the Tennessee Titans, the Browns, they could possibly take a quarterback. So if you're the Giants, you got to trade up. So that's why I said the Patriots want to lose. And once again, with the Giants, you want to lose. So you can at least stay right there because the more you move back, the more you move to pick five, pick six, pick seven, you got to trade more to get the number one. Right. So if you want to plan for a better future, you go ahead and tank this game. Let the Eagles win with their backups. So I got the Eagles winning because the Giants should not want to win. All right. Next, we got the Saints and the Bucks. Who you got?
Yes, sir. I got the Bucks winning this game. This is a must-win game for the Bucks to get in the playoffs. They cannot play around at all. They can't play around at all, and the Saints won't be playing with them either. But Baker Mayfield is going to be putting together a game. Mike Evans is going to put together a game, and I think Todd Bowles is going to put together a game plan that will just secure them to win because they have to make the playoffs. They need this game in order to do that.
Yes, absolutely need this game. Man, I wanted to pick against one of them, either Falcons or against the Buccaneers, right? I wanted to pick against one of them to lose this last game and get their season just ruined by a divisional matchup, right? The Panthers and the Saints. But I can't pick against them because the Panthers, you wanna lose, right? And then the Saints, same with y'all. Y'all want to lose too. Y'all don't want to win no more games to move up on the draft. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks, and I think the Bucks are gonna get into the playoffs over the Falcons at home. All right. Next we got the Texans and the Titans. Who you got?
I got the Texans winning this game. Like we were talking about earlier, these teams they have to stay in rhythm and going into the playoffs. Nobody wants to go into the playoffs on some losses. So I think CJ Stroud will get this team right in a divisional game against Will Levis. And like we just said, the Titans are fighting for next year. They're looking for a quarterback for next year. So Why would they win this game?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, the Titans are actually favored to win this game. If I'm not mistaken. Right. So there's some money to be made there. I know the Texans have been on a losing streak as of late. Right. I believe the Texans have lost. They lost two straight, and it was an ugly one last week against the Ravens. I think they lost what 2-31, something like that. They only scored 2 points. Right. So that's pretty bad. But this is kind of like the Steelers, right? You want to get a win going into the playoffs. You don't want to lose to the Titans going into the playoffs. So it's not even, so to me, it's not even about the Titans playing for next year, one to tank. To the Texans, you want to put on a good performance to give momentum going into the postseason. Because nobody thought the Texans would be first round exits. I understand they lost Tank Dell, I understand they lost Stephon Diggs, but you still got CJ Stroud, still got Nico Collins, right? The defense is banged up too. So really, to me, it's too many injuries to overcome anything. But you want to get a win going into the playoffs. You want to have a chance in the first round. They cannot lose to the Titans. You just can't lose to the Titans. I got the Texans winning on the road. All right. The 49ers and the Cardinals. Who you got?
I got the Cardinals winning this game. Brock Purdy's not playing. Kyler Murray's coming off 2 straight losses. You know he's gonna want to end the season on a win. He's playing for these incentives, and he's just a winner, man. This guy loves to win. He's playing at home in Arizona. They're a really good team at home. Book me for Kyler Murray to win this game.
All right. I got to pick upset eventually. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take it right here with the 49ers. The 49ers are a team that this year, going into this year, Super Bowl aspirations, right? But then injury after injury, things kept piling up. Couldn't do nothing about it. Now they're in this spot. To me, they just need to end the season with a win. Go into the offseason with a win, right? And then go see what you're going to do with Dre Greenlaw, see what you're going to do with Brock Purdy's contract. Go into the offseason on a W. I think it's very possible here at Arizona. Kyle Shanahan's too good to be 6-10. Let's just put it like that. So I just think that they end this season with the win. I'm going to take the upset 49ers over the Cardinals. All right. Next, we got the Chiefs and the Broncos. Mind you, the Chiefs are sitting their starters. Who you got?
I got the Broncos winning this game just because the Broncos have to win this game.
Yep.
You know that.
Yep.
You know Sean Payton's not coming off 2 straight losses either. So this is a must-win game at home. Bo Nix, go get the job done. Denver defense, go get the job done. Denver makes opposing quarterbacks look terrible. They make them look terrible. Go look at their passer rating. They make their quarterbacks look terrible.
Yeah. And they playing Carson Wentz this week, right? So must win. You're going to use a backup quarterback. You cannot lose this game because I even said that this season is a win regardless whether they make the playoffs or not because nobody expecting them to be above 500. Nobody expecting them to be in the playoff picture come week 18. But you still want to get in the playoffs. You don't want to be that team that lost the last 3 games and you could have clinched your spot, but you lost the last 3 and didn't make the playoffs, and you lost your last game to a team's backup. This is the same team that you lost to earlier in the season because of a blocked field goal, right? When they was at full strength. Now you're going to get them the last game of the season. It's a must-win game, and they're sitting their starters. You got to win this one. Sean Payton, you got to get in the playoffs. I think the Broncos should definitely win this game at home. Like you said, it's a must-win. You win and you're in. It's that simple. Or the Bengals lose and the Dolphins lose. The Dolphins probably not losing to the Jets. Even though Tua not playing, I don't know how that game going to go. So you definitely got to win this game and take care of business. All right. Next, you got the Seahawks and the Rams. Who you got?
Yes, sir. The Rams should be sitting their starters, right, sir?
Yeah, Cooper Cup. They said today he been downgraded, so he should
Yeah.
be. So yeah, it should be sitting.
Yes, sir. So I got the Seahawks winning this game. Seahawks been pissed off, man. They're coming off multiple losses. You know, their season fell apart
Yeah,
because of Geno Smith. As you said, he couldn't play in big games. I think in order for them to go into the offseason and him still be their quarterback, he has to go win this game. He has to go fight and show that he's their franchise quarterback.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. If he wants a chance, any chance, you want to end the season on a win. I think me personally, if the Seahawks want to get better, if they want to increase their ceiling, you got to get rid of Geno. Period. I'm sorry, he just has a ceiling. It's okay. Like every quarterback can't be great. Geno had a great story, right? His comeback, he came. He was a first round pick. Then he played bad, got benched, and now he's back starting. Like it was a great story, but there's a ceiling. You're hitting your head on it, and there's nowhere you can go. So to me, the Seahawks got to move on from him. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take. Sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the Rams and no, I'm gonna take the Seahawks in this one. I lied. I'm gonna take the Seahawks because the Rams are starting Jimmy Garoppolo. Right, Jimmy Garoppolo, Cooper Kupp not playing. I'm sure Puka Nacua not playing. They're actually sitting their starters, so I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one on the road against the Rams. And the reason why this game is no longer meaningful is because the Rams won last week. Now, if the Rams lost last week to the Cardinals, then this game would have been for the division. But because they won, they locked up their spots. So Seahawks, they're going to win just because the Rams not playing anybody. All right, next we got the Chargers and the Raiders. Who you got?
Yes, sir. I got the Chargers winning this game. The Raiders are playing for next year too. They need a quarterback. These standings are so tight when it comes to this draft order. These teams can't play around going into week 17.
Yeah,
Usually, you want to upset your division opponent. Can't do it this year. You do it, you're gonna be giving the another team in your division for years a star quarterback.
yeah.
So you're fighting for picks. You could go from pick 1 to pick 8. That's how tight it is. So definitely, I'm going with the Chargers.
Literally, there are 4 teams with 3 wins, and there are 5 teams with 4 wins. Right. So, like you said, you mess up, you mess around and win, you can drop from literally a top 3 pick to number 8, number 9. Right. So, yeah, the Raiders, you should not. We're not promoting tanking. Don't get it twisted. Right. I only promote it when it comes down to the last couple of weeks, and the season's over. Like, for example, I'm not going to sit here and say, all right, Shador is coming out next year draft, so I'm going to tank this whole season. I don't believe that. I'm against that. But if it's week 17, week 18, your season's over, go ahead and lose these last 2 games. So you can get a better pick. That's where we promote tanking. So the Raiders should not want no parts in winning this game. All right, the Chargers, go ahead and take care of business against the Raiders. All right. Next, we got the Dolphins and the Jets. Who you got?
I got the Dolphins winning this game. The Dolphins have to win this game to get in the playoffs, and I just think the Jets team was not it this year.
Yeah.
This team's giving up on each other. DJ Reed's in the locker room saying, I'm not coming back. In week 16, he's saying, oh, I'm ready to test free agency. I'm done with this. I'm
Yeah.
done with this. That was just crazy. It shows that locker room's not together. That coach doesn't have that locker room together. Go ahead, cancel the season. Dolphins on top, and they got to win to get into the playoffs. So, and they really, really need this game because the Bengals might not win this week. I don't think they're going to win this week. So
Yeah.
the Dolphins have to be thinking about that. Like, the Bengals not going to win this week. We need this to get in the playoffs. So I got the Dolphins.
Yeah, and they also need the Broncos to lose at home. But I'm gonna make a last minute switch up. Right, I had the Dolphins, but I'm gonna rob the Jets only because Tua's not playing. Right, they ruled Tua out. This is a must-win game for the Dolphins, but once again, this kind of goes back to when I betted on Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what the future looks like. So because this might be a last game as a starter, we don't know. We don't know. We just don't know. This might be his last game ever. You want to go out with a W. You want to go out on top. You want to go out. I can see this being a Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers just masterclass because this might be the last time they ever play together. So I really do believe that they can get this W. This is the first time I bet it on the Jets in a long time. And the only reason I'm doing it is because, like I said, Week 18, it's all situational. This could be the last time Aaron Rodgers plays, so I'm gonna go ahead and take A-Rod last game, and it's at home against a Dolphins team with no Tua. All right. And last but not least, this is the game of the week, guys. This is for the number 1 seed in the NFC. All right, we got the Vikings at Detroit. Tyrell, who you got?
Yeah, so I got the Lions winning this game. If you guys remember, Detroit went into Minnesota week 8. They beat the Vikings, man. Come on. I got the Lions winning this game. This is the best team in football. They got the best offense in football. They got the best coach in football. They got the best offensive coordinator in football. And that team is playing together right now. They're playing together, and I think the Vikings are a really good team. I just don't think they're good enough to be the number 1 seed in the win today. So I got the Lions winning this game. Shout out Dan Campbell, man. Go bring it home. It takes more. Detroit Lions.
Hey, even with the injuries, you're right. They still playing together. They still playing hard. I'm going with Detroit, and it's because I built a narrative around Sam Darnold saying that Sam Darnold's going to crumble eventually. He has not crumbled yet. So I needed to start this week. I need him to crumble this week and lose. Then I need him to lose in the first round. So I look like a genius. All right. I need it to happen. I still don't trust Sam Darnold. Not betting on him in a big game. I just can't wrap my head around the fact that Sam Darnold is starting quarterback and he's playing the way he's playing. I cannot wrap my head around it. So I think that this week will be the beginning of the end for this Vikings team. And real quick question, we're probably going to talk about it in the future, but do you think that Sam Darnold has deserved to be the starter for this team moving forward?
I think he has definitely deserved the right to be a starter moving forward because of how many games they've won and of how much chemistry he has with this team. It shouldn't be a question. You can't just
So,
throw in there next year who you never seen play a snap of football and just
yeah,
throw all that up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So because JJ McCarthy was the first round pick, what you gonna do with him? Just let him sit behind Sam, or
Definitely sit behind Sam. I think Sam's still a bridge quarterback. I think I'd sign him to like a 2-year, $40 million deal,
yeah,
something like that. That
yeah,
way, by the end of both of their contracts, we can see which guy we want. And it never hurt anybody to have two guys on the same roster.
yeah. I got you.
What about you?
Me personally, Sam Darnold is kind of it's kind of like we have to see. We have to see and find out. Because if I'm right, then I think that you got to go with a player who you believe ceiling is higher. If you drafted JJ McCarthy in the first round, you think his ceiling is high. That's what you think. I don't think it is, but that's what you think. So I feel like you got to find out if JJ McCarthy is the guy. So you can resign Sam, but I feel like you got to find out if JJ McCarthy is the guy. Because you know how I feel about wasting first round picks, right? I feel like you putting yourself a year behind when you waste a first round pick. So you got to find out, in my opinion. But if Sam goes in the playoffs and wins a game or two, you got to stick with Sam. I'm sorry. Like, it's just unfortunate that JJ McCarthy got hurt and now you got a backup that's balling. Like, it's almost like the 49ers situation with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance. Right? You had Trey got hurt, then Brock came in and hooped and then got you to the NFC Championship. What you gonna do the next year? Right? So it's kind of the same thing. But me personally, I would see what JJ has. I don't believe in him, but you draft him in the first round, you gotta see. All right. But we're gonna talk about that in the future in the offseason for sure. About the Vikings next year. Yeah, but that is it for today's episode of Straight to the Point podcast, y'all. Week 18 bets, week 18 picks. Make sure y'all lock them in, and then the playoffs start next week, all right? But that's it from your boy Jay Best and your boy Real. Y'all stay blessed. Much love. We out.
Yes, sir.